Now it's just the two of us. A couple things, guys. Two things really quick. One, thank you for being here. Two, do me a favor. Post us on Twitter. Let everybody know we're live and we're doing this so that if they want to get in and give us some thoughts live, either in the chat or by joining the call so that you can talk to Matt and I and tell us how fucking stupid we are. You're welcome to do so. We're going to get into some of the questions submitted to the forum now. I would also let you know you can start requesting. The link is in the chat. It's pinned as a comment. So if you'd like to join, chat with us for a little bit, give us your take live, you can absolutely do so. We are going to kick things off with a community takes here. The first one we have is from Pat, and he's got two. And so I think we actually talked about one of them unintentionally, but I'll read them both now. So Pat said, we need to play most of our starters in the Open Cup game. Detroit City is no joke. Let's take this Open Cup seriously and finally win something for once. And then he said, Chris Cup should be starting over Sam Rogers. So two things. One, Matt, I'm sorry, Matt, I'll let you go in a second. One, I don't want to take Detroit City that seriously. If we have to take Detroit City that seriously, we have a very serious problem. I think we should play a good number of guys, but I don't think there's a reason we should be risking Hugo Kuipers for 90 minutes against a USL Championship side. Matt, I don't know where you're at. I've got two categories for everything today. We have fire takes and tired takes. Fire is good, tired is bad. To me, very, very tired take.
Production value is going crazy. Good. Kudos to these producers. You're incredible. No, I think like in this case, taking Detroit City seriously, which is something we should do because it's an opponent, does not mean play most or all of your starters. This is an MLS roster and there's MLS talent on the bench. Like look at Marin Haile Selassie. And I'm going to even say like Tom Barlow would be a great feature for a game like this. And I think this is a competition where, you're going to see Jeff Gall probably start on Wednesday. And there's no reason that with those players on the pitch, you could and shouldn't lose this game. So sorry, Pat, but like we don't need to play our players. We need to beat Orlando on Saturday with our starters. And then we need to kick the crap out of Atlanta on the following Saturday with our starters. We can't afford to play all of them in Detroit, although their fans suck. So I can't say like if Hugo Kuipers scored 5 goals on them, I wouldn't complain. But when you think about the long-term schedule of life, it shouldn't happen and it won't happen. Greg is obviously smarter than that.
So, Matt, what you're saying is that take is tired.
Tired. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah,
tired.
brother.
Can we get a hashtag tired in chat, please?
Yeah. Guys, drop your tired or fire in the chat whenever we're doing this, all right? Yeah, I agree. I like what you said, like that it should be bench players, not youth players. Like, I don't want to see, no disrespect to like Jean Alpha Diouf, right? He's just the guy who popped into my head. Like, I don't want to see him playing. I want to see Christopher Cups play. I want to see Omar Gonzalez play. I want to see Marin Haile Selassie play, guys like that. Tom Barlow, goose egg incoming. I will make you a bet right now, Diego. Tom Barlow scores a goal against Detroit City FC. Not going to put anything on it, but you'll know and I'll know. And next time I see you, I'll rub it in.
I would love to watch you lose that one. I can't lie.
Okay, well, shut up, Matt. Again, guys, feel free to click that link at the top. If you'd like to join in, you're welcome to join us live here. Ask or share your hot takes so that you can, give it to us live. We'll chat about it and tell you if it's fire or tired. We have the next one off the forum coming from Render312. He had a pair as well. One I didn't. So he said, bring the homie Gio from the WCFE podcast as a special guest. I'm going to keep it a buck with you, Render. I don't know who that is. Tell him to DM me and we can talk about it, though. I don't know who that is, so I feel bad saying that.
Yeah, me either. I'm on Twitter right now. I got nothing. All I see is the broadcast range of further education courses in the Southeast, which I don't think is what we're referring to.
Probably not. But Render also said, winning a Supporter Shield trophy is more difficult than winning a U.S. Open Cup trophy. And we often forget the Fire won a Supporter Shield in 2003. The Fire should win more Supporter Shields in the next decade.
John, I know what WCFE is. I'm stupid. It's Gio Perez. He's a dog. Windy City Football Experience. Great guy. We should invite him onto the pod.
Okay, fuck yeah. That's just on me for not knowing.
For those of you watching audio only, I started waving my hands in big circles telling John to shut up because I had to lock in right there.
Do people listen to this audio only? I feel like you miss so much of the experience if you listen audio only.
I sometimes listen to video podcast audio only, like when you're driving or something like that.
But I mean, like this one specifically.
I don't know. I mean, we're handsome men. I hope people would look at us, but I can't speak for what people do.
Hey, you guys know Matt's been going on dates lately.
Allegedly. It's true. Allegedly.
Anyway, so yeah, look, Render, here's the thing. I don't disagree. Like, it would be great to win a supporter shield. If I'm being honest, it means nothing to me. Nothing at all. That is a very tired take to me. Like, it would be sick if we were the best team in the league, but that would mean nothing to me if we didn't then win MLS Cup, right? I'd rather be an 8 seed and win MLS Cup than win supporter shield and lose in the second round. I don't know if you agree. And certainly I would rather win US Open Cup than win a supporter shield and then nothing in the playoffs. Like, it kind of feels like, oh, great, good job. You were the number 1 seed. Like, this isn't Europe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but also I don't, because I'm thinking about if Aston Villa, my Premier League team, won the Premier League, who had the most points, I'd be ecstatic. So I hold the supporter shield to like a high level of stock, although it doesn't really give you like you get a trophy. It's not like the trophy in MLS, but being the best team in the league by points is actually a metric that I'd really like to have. That being said, when I compare it to the US Open Cup, there's no comparison. The US Open Cup is 100% what I would refer. I also don't know the last time a supporter shield champion actually won MLS Cup. I don't know the answer to that question. If someone in chat, DJ would know, but he's gone. If someone in chat could let me know, that'd be great. But I wouldn't say one's more difficult than the other. I think in 2025, supporter shield is probably more difficult because not all the MLS teams are playing in the Open Cup. Mm-hmm. But I think the Open Cup is way more appealing to me and should be to most Fire fans. Winning supporter shield does not mean you're going to win MLS Cup. The MLS Cup playoffs are an absolute crapshoot.
And Ryan in the chat just said it gets you in the FIFA Club World Cup. No, it doesn't. You get in for being Inter Miami. Let's be clear about that, right? Like, also, the only reason that happened was because it was Inter Miami.
I have no interest in watching the Chicago Fire lose 5-0 to Al Nassr and 7-1 to PSG.
We would beat Al Nassr.
Miami got killed by Al Nassr.
Yeah, Miami sucks. We're better than Miami, obviously. Matt, what is going on here? You don't know ball, apparently.
Chill out, dude. My goodness. You okay? Long day at work or something, sweetheart?
Yeah, very long.
Don't know why I do
work,
that. I'm sorry. I apologize. That was a bad one.
Ryan O'Malley, excuse me, in the chat said it would be one hell of a fun season. No, you're right. Like, that's the thing. Winning a supporter shield would be sick. It is third in the list of trophies I would like to win. It's actually probably like fifth, because it's like, if I'm being honest with myself, it's probably like US Open Cup. Listen to me. Like US Open Cup and MLS Cup, I would say they're almost even to me, if I'm being candid. Then it would be like CONCACAF Champions League, because that would be awesome. Then I guess it would be supporters.
Something to get in CONCACAF Champions.
Yeah, but I'm just saying in terms of all the trophies we could win, like that would be third to me. And then I guess it would be supporter shield, because it's like
Leagues Cup. Don't forget Leagues Cup. That's an important one, John.
It would be fun to win Leagues Cup, but that would just be like, oh, cool. It's like winning the in-season tournament in the NBA. Who cares? Like, I'm glad my guys got more money for it, but that's all that matters.
The Bulls are mid as heck, so if they won the play-in or the mid-season tournament, I'd actually be quite happy.
Yeah, the Bulls are winning the play. There's nothing quite like the annual tradition of the Bulls playing in the fucking play-in. Hey, let's hope the Fire can join them in that tradition this year. A little play-in tournament. Maybe they'll even get into the playoffs. But yeah, overall, appreciate it, Render, but I think you could not be more wrong. That is a certified tired take. Next up here, we don't have anybody waiting. So again, guys, if you would like to join in, you can click that Zoom link there. Matt is keeping an eye on it to let you in if you'd like to give us a little.
I'm emotional. That's all I'm saying. I'm ready to fight.
If you'd like to give a bit of a hot take live, we would love to have you in. So feel free to click that link there. Join us. Talk your talk. Back it up if you need to as well. We had from the number one Carlos Turan enthusiast. He said, would you rather have KDB or Mueller, or would you rather wait for someone else to become available? And who would it be? Matt, you weren't on the KDB episode, so if you want to talk about this, you start.
Yes, I'm separating this question into two. The first question is, would you rather have KDB or Muller? Which to me, there's no discussion. It's KDB. He's younger and he's always been better than Muller. Sorry,
Fire.
Alex, you're not gonna like that, but in reality, that's the truth. That being said, if you take that question and throw it onto the second part, which is, or would you wait for anyone else? The answer would be yes. I would wait for Antoine Griezmann, who I think at this point in his career is better than John's not liking this, but he's wrong. So it's okay. I would take Antoine Griezmann over KDB at this point in their careers. Prime story, different, situation, but they're not in the prime. Fun fact, that's not how aging works. But KDB, when you compare him to Thomas Muller, Antoine Griezmann over any of them. This is not me saying that Antoine Griezmann's coming to the Fire. He's not. He's allegedly about to re-sign with Atletico. But if we don't sign KDB, which that is not a definitive thing, it's a thing, but it's not a definitive thing. Griezmann in the next winter would be awesome. Although he's probably LA bound.
Can I get somebody in chat to just tweet right now? Tweet a link to this and then put a quote that says Antoine Griezmann is coming to Chicago Fire and attribute that to Matt Shableman on Twitter, because he did say that, but make sure you put the ... beforehand.
I did say that.
Yeah, look, I am on the record about, I think, so again, separating into two parts, would also agree KDB over Muller 100%. I just think he's better right now. Not that Thomas Muller's bad. I wouldn't be angry about having Thomas Muller on the team, but if I had to choose, I would pick Kevin De Bruyne. I would rather have neither of them, and I don't want Antoine Griezmann either. All I want in the world is to go pay $40 million, and I'm making that number up. Go pay whatever it takes to go get Cameron Carter-Vickers or Chris Richards, or he just signed an extension, so it doesn't really work anymore. But weeks ago we were talking about Virgil van Dijk, right? Get me a big name center back who can ball the fuck out next to Jack Elliott. No disrespect to Sam Rodgers when I say this. I want somebody who is at the level of Jack Elliott or better. And if that means you need to spend money to do so, do so. I think what we're getting, there was a lot of talk about Philip Zinkernagel being the third wing. Right now, he looks better than Jonathan Bamba. So to me, it's I don't want Philip Zinkernagel off the field. I like Marin Haile Selassie as the third wing. Give me defensive reinforcements. The team is desperate for it. The roster needs it. We were thin at center back to start the season. That's why Omar Gonzalez got signed, right? So yeah, I would much rather see a defensive DP come in to me, right? That just makes the most sense. And especially if you could get somebody, right, hypothetically, that could maybe even also swing out to the fullback spot if needed, right? Or something along those lines. It makes way more sense in a roster building perspective for me. And I know they want it for the publicity, and a high powered attack goes far in MLS, but I don't know, man. I think if you give Jack Elliott a real world-class guy to pair with, this could be a really legitimate defense.
I agree with you. I'm in the industry of managing expectations, though, and we've kind of conclusively decided that that's not the route they're going to do. 100%. So now my answer just, my thought process goes to how can we ensure that the back line is still good while bringing in that attacking marketing presence that we are actively trying to do. Neymar, KDB, who knows who's down the line if we don't get either of them. Neymar's probably out of the picture, just to clarify that. But I think there's no reason you can't bring a guy in from the league who's been in the league to your roster, in an in-league trade to beef up the back line. Ignoring roster spots, obviously there's some fiddling that has to go around with that. But I also think a good TAM DB is really great. Think about Robin Hansen, the Swedish, Viking in the back line for Orlando. A guy like that, or even a guy like Lala's Abubakar or an Aaron Long. You don't need a Virgil van Dijk to beef up the back line. Jack Elliott is one of the premier center backs in the league. Pair him up with...
Somebody once reported Aaron Long to the Fire. I don't know who that was.
It might have been me, honestly, a long time ago. Actually, I think it was me a long time ago. But a player of that stature next to Jack Elliott with a Sam Rodgers and, maybe a Carlos Turan if he's still here off the bench is a good pool. That's a good center back pool. And I don't think you need a Virgil van Dijk to fix this defense's problem. Your first choice right back has been out for 3-4 weeks now. He's been really, really good. Carlos Turan going down sucks, but he was just starting to show form. We don't know how long his injury is for, but if he comes back, maybe he reaches that level again. If not, you sell him and you bring back that TEM level, in trade player to shore up that back line. But that being said, if Virgil van Dijk came on a free, I'd piss my pants,
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, right? You don't need to go get a player of that caliber to do it, right? To fix the back line, to get a little bit more, to be fuller there, right? Of course. But I would say, look at the best teams in the league, right? And they aren't exclusively looking to bring in attacking DPs, right? You look at Miles Robinson in Cincinnati, a guy like that, and I don't think he's a DP. I think he's max TAM, but still, I would like to see a little bit more money spent there. And I know you can only fix so many things at a time, but that to me is can you, in my head, right? If we're talking about go get a big name who can make a big impact, that just makes the most sense, right? We don't have to worry about sidelining Brian Gutierrez. We don't have to worry about shutting down other guys or kind of making room in the midfield. It's you have a big gaping hole in your roster. Fill it with a guy who's a huge name and is also awesome. You think Celtic wouldn't take a good chunk of money for Kramer Carter-Vickers? Because I think they would. And he wouldn't even take up an international roster spot. And it's somebody who's familiar with Berhalter's system. I know we
I
don't
would not be happy with you because CCV is the best defender in the Scottish League. Just saying.
Yeah, okay. That's like being the best attacker in League One. Shout out Charlie Kelman. Charlie Kelman. Sorry.
No slandering the Scottish League just because Paul's not here. That is not fair to anyone.
I have slandered the Scottish League to Paul's face. Don't talk to me about Theo Bair, who rode the bench for Vancouver 2 years ago and then scored 15 goals in Scotland. Anyway, yeah, no, I would like to see defensive reinforcements. Ben, who was another listener, said DP center back should be a higher priority than De Bruyne. Can't win games with our defense. So to me, Ben, that is a fire take. Matt seems to think it is a little bit tired, though.
Yeah. Good defenses are great. Great attacks are better than good defenses. Oh, defense wins games. Shut up. This isn't fucking baseball. Grow up. Score 50 goals in the net and concede 40. I don't care. Just score more than the other team. That was really aggressive. I'm sorry.
Yeah, except for when it doesn't work.
Yeah,
ding dong.
You're a ding dong.
All right,
ding dong boy.
Moving on. Once again, guys, you got the link right there. If you want to click it and join in, we would love to have you and hear from you. We've got another community take here from Hans Martin Ishida, who is not. I keep seeing this name pop up because it's a very specific name, and I don't know who they are. So give me a little shout out on Twitter or something so I know who you are moving forward. Hans says, Guti aside, the midfield is too many Swiss Army knives and not enough specialists. There's no clear defensive mid and no clear creative eights or tens with Guti aside. In order to take the next step, we need to get the team. We need the team to get more out of the midfield, both in the attacking third and shielding the defense. Matt, I'll let you kick this one off.
It's interesting. The midfield is too many. I'm just rereading the question. Too many and not enough specialists. I think the interesting thing about this is Pineda is not really a specialist of any sorts. We know what his role is. He's an equally good defender and contributor offensively. He doesn't have a specialist. I think we've seen flashes of that with Sergio, but he's still acclimating and learning his own game. Kellen Acosta is one of those guys. Is he a specialist? We don't know because we haven't actually seen him consistently on the field. But I don't think this is an awful take. And when I think about our pool, I mean, we know what De Villa's specialty is. We've seen it in the tape, although he hasn't been able to show it. But what is Roming Kouame? Romani Kouame's specialty is. So it feels like a lot of these players have similar attributes outside of Guti. I think Sergio's the one I'm most intrigued by in terms of what he can bring as a specialist, but we haven't really seen that yet because this is his first 10 game run where he's actually getting starts. But I see the potential there for him to be a really, really helpful offensive contributor, not necessarily defensive contributor at all from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I think it's interesting in the context of We're not really playing with a 10. I know Brian Gutierrez gets a little farther forward, but like he's not playing as a 10. I think it's really more double pivot. So, you know, kind of pair eights. I actually kind of disagree. So Brian Gutierrez, I think we are seeing him try to be a little more defensive, but he's clearly the creative guy in the attacking third. And then you have Sergio Oregel, who to me is kind of that more creative 8 who's going to link play between the midfield and the final third. And what we're really missing is that stopper, right? That number 6 who can, we're missing a Tyler Adams, right? And so, you know, the hope is that Jay Davila can kind of be that guy. Yeah, you want to talk about a fucking awesome DP, by the way. Go buy Tyler Adams from Bournemouth.
Hell
my God.
Hell yeah.
And then, Tim's not even here to say, oh, well, he would only play for Red Bull. Yeah, okay, Tim.
Okay.
Sorry, Tim. No, but you know, we're missing that Tyler Adams piece. We're missing that guy who, like I mentioned before, will take a yellow and slide into somebody's knees just to send a message, as we saw Tyler Adams do this past weekend, actually. So yeah, I think it's short answer is no. Long answer is we're missing one very specific specialist, and that is somebody who can just fucking rock you. Right? One guy who can win the ball, distribute to the center backs quickly, and then also can be a little bit of a spark plug in the midfield, you know, and shoot from 40 yards outside the box when he needs to. What, Matt, why are you raising your hand? It's just us.
I'm the only, I was going to say, I saw someone in chat say this earlier and they said, so you're saying we shouldn't have gotten rid of, should not have gotten
rid of Federico
Navarro. And he fits that description. You're saying that's all I'm saying. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing.
Preseason, first of all, Ryan, stop talking about goons in the chat. Second of all, preseason, I was very much into the idea of keeping Federico Navarro. Like his profile, I think still makes a lot of sense on this team. And I was really curious to see what Greg would do with him in that role of just like, go be our destroyer. Go win the ball back. Have that last bit of speed. Matt's checking his phone live on stream. But no, I think like that is kind of what we're missing, right? We're not missing a ton of specialists because on the bench, right, you don't necessarily want to have a backup 6, a backup 8, a backup 10. I mean, maybe you want to have 1 or 2 of those, but what you want is a bunch of guys who can fit into a lot of different roles. And like Mauricio Pineda, great for that. Sam Williams, great for that. Romani Kwame, who I think is probably more of a traditional 6. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what he is like when he's back and healthy, which, you know, he might get some limited minutes this week as he's starting to train with the team again. So yeah, I guess the hope is that Romani can be that guy, but we haven't seen that yet. And he has shown an eagerness to get forward. So yeah, a little bit up in the air, I guess, in that respect. So I don't hate what you're saying, Hans, but I think you painted with maybe too broad of a brush there.
Real quick before we move on, also, I see in the chat, Christian Alabas, welcome to the stream. It's totally okay that you're late, but very emphatically said in all caps, stop starting Jack Elliott. He does not get enough hate. He doesn't do well on the ball and is always late to react when the ball gets crossed the box. So
drop your tireds in the chat right now.
Also,
drop
Christian,
them in the chat.
Like, feel free to call in if you want to talk about this one more. But like, this is crazy. Like, who are we going to start over Jack Elliott? That's just my question to you.
Not even bud. Like, what games are you watching, brother? Jack Elliott
Christian.
is like maybe the best player on the team.
Chill, but okay.
He's got a case for it. I mean,
I would say the Golden Boot leader on the team is probably the best player on the team.
I think he's got. Yeah, I would maybe say Hugo has a better case, but I think Jack has a case. Omar Gonzalez.
Oh, he said Omar Gonzalez. Oh,
Shut up.
Shut up.
Boo.
Okay, streaming immediately gets just roasted.
Boo this man.
Don't boo our viewers. We only have 14.
More seriously. Hold on. What did FC Neo Tokyo say here? Thank you, Elliot is a bust.
What the heck? Who are you people?
Tokyo's here all the time. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Eagle, get out of here.
Yeah, Ryan, we would all play center back for, well, actually, it's only like 90,000. The league minimum is only like 90,000. I don't know if I would do that, to be honest.
I would put you in the 11 if you were on a free contract, not making any money. No disrespect, but actually major disrespect. No way you're coming on the pitch.
No, look, I think like the real issue with Jack Elliott, he has not been garbage. Jesus Christ. The real issue with Jack Elliott is he's the only competent defender on that back line right now.
Agreed.
Sam Rogers is not, maybe not competent, but Sam Rogers is not, Matt, you don't need to raise your hand.
We're
you can
referring
just
to
talk
center backs only, right?
I'm talking about fullbacks as well.
Okay, now I have a problem. Continue.
So Sam Rogers, I think, is perfectly fine, but he's probably a backup in a perfect world. I think Omari Glasgow has played well, but I still probably a backup in a perfect world. And Andrew Gutman, purely on his defensive quality, is backup level. He is not a good one-on-one defender. He does not have good recovery speed. He is on the field because of what he gives you going forward, not what he gives you coming back. That's a fact. I don't think you would even disagree with that, Matt. So, like, he is maybe the only starting quality defender in that back line right now. Now, when Leo Barroso's back, when Carlos Terán is on the field, that's a much different story. And that's when you see Jack Elliott at his best. But right now, he does not have anywhere near the supporting cast he would need to be his best self. So has he been his best? No. Is he still the best defender on the team? Without question.
Yeah, I was going to argue with you until you acknowledged that only the healthy people. I was going to throw out Barroso and Turan as good defensive options. But no, I mean, I've said it in the bonfire many times that Gutman is not a great defensive left back.
Tokyo.
I can't argue with you.
Tokyo. First of all, you're welcome to join. Second of all, he's not even having a bad season. Like, he's having a pretty good season, man. Like, I don't even think that's a hot take. I think that's actually a pretty cold take, if I'm being honest. Matt, am I like insane right now?
No, I think, Fire fans are going to look at 11th in the league and the -4 goal differential and automatically put that on Jack Elliott because he started every single game. But he's been playing well. Has he been perfect? No. But John said that too. But he's also surrounded by pieces that inherently make him worse and inherently make him do more than what he's supposed to be doing and what he should be doing. So no, I think this Jack Elliott hate is bizarre, honestly.
I didn't know people dislike Jack Elliott like this. Guillermo says Tehran's proneness to injury makes him a liability, and I think we should sell him as soon as he gets healthy again. I mean, yeah, the problem is nobody's, last time I said nobody was
lined up, you can't sell him.
Yeah. And the other side of the coin is, like, I think if anything, what you hope is maybe he's a useful trade piece to get you a center back in return, right? Is there a guy who maybe hasn't performed in another situation that you think you can bring in and get something out of? And it's kind of like a broken parts for broken parts type situation. So yeah, I don't disagree with that. But main point being, if you think Jack Elliott's having a bad season, you must think Sam Rogers should be like playing Sunday League in Uzbekistan, because I don't know. I don't know how you compare it.
And all I'm saying before we move on to the next one, or we're going to get hung up on this for years, is Tobias Sahlqvist would be a lifesaver right now if he was still with the club. I'm just thinking a lot about that.
Yeah.
This was a veteran center back who was on our roster and is no longer. And I'm just thinking about that as we run into these defensive center back quarrels, so to speak.
There has been an aspect to Matt, and like we can talk about it a little bit. Like, there were some departures that I think in the moment we were all kind of like, okay. And maybe they were, I think a lot of them were guys who were easy to move that had big cap hits, right? Like Toby was a max TAM player, so it makes sense that he would A, be easy to move because he's still a talented guy, but also B, he's going to give you the most relief in terms of cap flexibility. So yeah, I think there is that aspect to it, but also it's tough, man. It's tough because you would love to have him right now. Obviously, you hoped Sam Rogers would be better and Carlos Terán would be healthy. But yeah, he would be great to have. Federico Navarro might be good to have too, just for some more flexibility there. I'm still wondering if eventually we see Mauricio Pineda play center back, because we haven't really seen that yet. And I think it would be worth talking about.
Johan Kappelhoff with a C would also be sick. First thing I've agreed with Christian all day so far.
Suke would not have saved the day. All right, Arai, settle down.
Yeah, I could already hear Arai chirping in the background. My goodness.
Suke I feel bad for Suke. Did he ever sign with another team?
No, he still lives in the city. I follow him on Instagram, and his kids are always running around the loop.
Damn. I guess he got paid for the full year, right?
Geez, $600,000. I'd be retired for a year too.
Jesus, yeah. He's like, oh, I don't remember giving up my number. It's like, dog, you don't play here anymore. Like, I'm sorry to tell you, but oh my God. Yeah. Will saying I'd rather have Cups than Sahlquist or Rogers right now. I mean, no.
Will.
He's 16, dude.
Will, a 16-year-old that's played 30 minutes over Rogers, who's better? I'm sorry. Cups is probably going to be better than Rogers in 5 fucking years.
I mean, he could be better than him in like 2 years.
2 years. Yeah, that's fair. He's not ready.
Yeah, dude. How often do you, Matt, how vulgar can I be really quick? Like scale of 1 to 10.
It's like, let's go with a 7. We're not getting canceled here. Just
I gotta hear about fucking Kevin Sullivan every day of my fucking life. And that kid is barely getting minutes at Philadelphia. Right? So like Christopher Cups, who's getting like 1/80th of the attention that Kevin Sullivan is getting, although I think they could end up being kind of similar levels in terms of the player, right? Is not going to start magically starting for this team over, you know, a guy who, say what you will, is a vet. You know, he has played a lot of first division soccer, albeit in the Scandinavian countries.
That's U.S. men's national team member Sam Rogers to you, Christian, and to you, Will. He's a national team player. 1 cap underneath Triple G, which is funny.
Brandon Vincent had no reason to retire and go to medical school. All right. Is Gucci better than Kevin? I mean, like right now, probably. Maybe not in 5 years.
Correct.
Why do you think we didn't sign any defenders before the window closed? Toronto just gotten injured. Matt, I mean, I would say, frankly, there wasn't enough time and there wasn't enough cap space. Like, you don't have the roster spots. You don't have the money. They have like 100,000 in GAM right now. There was just no real way to make that happen without a big trade. And I don't know that they were willing to do that at that time. Matt, I don't know if you have anything to add, like thoughts there.
No, we know what they're using their senior spots for. It wasn't a center back. It's being held for the big boy, whoever that may be. That's coming in the summer. It's just, they didn't plan for Carlos Duran to be out for months. Let's just say that.
Although, you know, if he, I don't know, if he had asked around a little bit, somebody probably could have told him, right? Like,
or we could put Ryan in goal or in center back and see how that works out for us because he's yapping in the chat right now.
Priorities.
Remember when I said we weren't going to get hung up on the center back convo?
It's a good convo to have. All right.
You're right.
Let's see. Christian said, bro, if Jack Elliott is our best center back, then we're not a serious club. I said that like 6 minutes ago.
We're still talking about this.
And it's a fact. Anyway, Luis.
So locked in.
Luis said, moving on here now. And again, guys, please, a lot of you are chirping in the chat. And as much as I love that, the whole premise of this, the whole reason we do this live is so that you guys can join and talk to us. So, Christian, stop talking about Jack Elliott. So yeah, click on that link if you want to join. We've got one more from Luis. Luis said after the Nashville game, the players, Ryan, we'll get to that next. After the Nashville game, the players will be so much more locked in that the Fire will be unbeaten for the games of the month of May. Matt, give me a small take and give me a how likely that is.
I agree with the first part. The players should be more locked in. If they're not locked in and they don't perform in May, then I fear that Greg is slowly going to lose the locker room, because if you can't bounce back, and I said this in the bonfire earlier in the stream, from a 7-2 loss, then your mentality is really shitty. And I don't think that's going to be the case with the Triple G team, if I'm honest. That being said, it's difficult to go unbeaten in a full month, and I think there's a lot of talent that we're playing in the month of May. And I don't think we're going to go unbeaten. I think we're going to perform better than we did in the month of April. Maybe 2-3 wins, but I expect a loss there at some point, and I don't think that's unreasonable to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be with you 100%. I agree that I think the mentality will change. I think the guys will look a little better. I think they'll try a little harder. I think I would expect to see better performances moving forward. I think when you have something like that, on top of just being bad and feeling like shit, it's embarrassing, right? I mean, everybody in this chat, I would imagine, has had a job at some point in their life. You ever just do something really stupid at work? You try your best the next day you're in. And I think that's kind of what we'll see. So yeah, I think it's unlikely they go unbeaten, but I think it's a fire take. I love the optimism. I love the confidence. And I think the core of it is 100% correct. I think the mentality is going to be there in the month of May. And I think you could see some serious pickup in points for sure. Two things. One, we did get a really good one from Ryan in the chat here. Oh shit. Okay. Oh my God.
No waiting room. Fun fact. We're going to add a waiting room. Hang on.
Anybody could have just joined at any time.
That's terrifying.
Jiggly, is that you?
Yeah.
What's up, Jiggly? How's Korea, big dog?
I got a day off today and I did not realize that there was hot takes. And you know what? I've got something.
Oh God. Right, okay. Jiggly, keep it under 100 words.
Look, everybody probably has their own opinions about that 7-2 loss, but you know who wasn't on the pitch? That I immediately said before the game. I was in a call with my parents, normal calling home. I saw that this player was not on the pitch and I said, we're screwed.
You're way over 100 words.
Sergio Oregel is somehow the key to this team. I wasn't expecting it before the season, but he was the one who locked down Messi. It wasn't Turan who locked down Messi. I think it was Oregel who locked down Messi. He was getting those interceptions.
What drugs are legal in Korea?
A lot, I think.
Actually, no, but very few.
So interesting. Look, do I think he locked down Lionel Messi? No. Do I think maybe we're not giving him enough credit for his defensive work, especially his defensive work rate? Yeah, I think that's super possible. I also think he is, oddly enough, maybe our strongest midfielder on the ball. When we talk about just purely keeping possession, I think he's really underrated there. Great distributor, really smart player. So yeah, I think it's totally possible that he's a way more important player than we realize at this point. I don't know if I agree with everything you said. I don't know, Matt, you have a look.
Yeah, okay, Jiggly, if Sergio played over Acosta, we would have lost 6-2. It doesn't matter who played in the midfield that game.
No,
we were going to get
we wouldn't have lost 6-2.
We would have lost
4-2.
4-2. Great. Okay, we still would have gotten.
Hey, that's 3 goals.
Butts whooped. I don't think he's the key to the entire team. I think that is the front line. That is just what's in front of us right now. That being said, I could see based off his ability to improve week after week, if it becomes a pivotal part of that team, my hot take would be in a year, he could be more impactful to the midfield than Bryan Gutierrez. So I could see it in the future, but I don't think we're there yet. Oh, John does not look happy.
No. So what I was going to say is look, I'm a long time critic of Bryan Gutierrez. I do think his ceiling is high. I've always worried about his actual ability to reach that ceiling. I think right now, if you're telling me, put your money on futures for Bryan Gutierrez or Sergio Oregel, I think I'm taking Sergio Oregel.
W.
And I don't think that's that crazy of a take. Christian in the chat said there's times on defense when he looks clueless. I don't even disagree with that, right? But I also think that's growing pains. This is a new league for him. He's not played at the first team much at all, actually. And I think that'll come with time. But I also don't think his game needs to be, I'm the best defender on the field. It needs to be, I'm a competent defender who can control the ball. And he does that for a 19-year-old who's playing his first real minutes in the first division. He's doing that at an elite level. I don't think that's even a crazy thing to say. So, Jiggly, I agree with you. I think he's more important than we realize.
Well, I'm not saying something that he locked him down as one-on-one type defending. I don't think he's that good at man defending, but what he does, interceptions, cutting out passes, out throughout that entire game, every time a ball started going towards Messi, Oregel was there. I
also did a great job against Messi.
Yeah,
as well.
I just
team job.
I think he played well in that game. I think if you're asking me order of importance on defenders, it's Carlos Terán, gigantic gap, Mauricio Pineda.
And my point with that game, sometimes you just get speed back. You get hit with a couple of goals and then suddenly things start falling apart.
100%.
If you don't give up those first couple of goals, it's not going to be that way. I don't think that, like I said, if Oregel starts, so if we have just slightly bit better, it doesn't fall apart.
Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from.
Maybe.
To be honest, I don't think I think that was just. To be honest, I think that game was a long time coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that game was waiting to happen. I think the mentality had been bad. I think the guys weren't very focused. I think they got a little high on themselves. And yeah, sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need to get curb stomped to finally go to the dentist, right? I don't know. Might use that one later.
I'm sorry. Is that a saying?
It is now.
God,
Everybody go
okay,
spread that out to the world.
Stupid as hell. Oh my lord.
Fuck you,
The
man.
dentist could have said the orthodontist. You said dentist. That's wild.
I hate you.
I mean,
I hate so much about who you choose to be.
The other really quick thing is just because I'm saying it in the chat right now, Davia, I don't think he's anything right now. He honestly should have been a Fire 2 signing.
No, he's a perfectly fine U22 signing for his potential. He should be playing with Fire 2 right now to get acclimated
exactly.
and understand
Correct.
the system.
Yes.
He looks lost.
He's not ready. Anyone who says he's here for a paycheck, though, is crazy. The kid is so
It's
young.
stupid.
He's here to further his development. I see that in chat. He's here for a paycheck. But he's not a 37-year-old Thomas Muller, okay?
Yeah, you know who's coming here for a paycheck? Kevin De Bruyne.
Shaqiri.
You know what?
I mean,
yeah.
we all thought that Blanco was coming here for a paycheck, and then he turned out to actually care.
I mean, you can come for a paycheck and still be awesome. That's what Hugo did.
Yeah.
Kevin De Bruyne.
All right. Jiggly, thank you for joining.
Bye.
Great to see you.
Thanks, Shakes. Great to see you.
Drink some Korean alcohol for us
Sake.
and
Shit,
enjoy
that's
yourself.
Japanese crap.
You racist.
Fight, protect trans rights.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Official
Yeah.
stance of hot takes. Wait. Okay, Ryan. I know you. I think that was a really poorly timed L in the chat. If that's the Ryan I think it is, that was a really poorly timed L in the chat. Yeah, official stance of hot takes, by the way. I feel like that's a reasonable thing to say.
I just
Protect
like
trans
people.
rights. Yeah, fuck yeah. People deserve love and support. Anyway, Ryan did have a good take earlier, and Matt, I want you to answer this. Does Shaqiri make this team better?
No. I'm not giving that any more stock than it should. No.
Yeah, I would probably agree, but I think in a world where you couldn't get out of the contract and he didn't want to leave, I wouldn't hate it. I would have been curious coming into the year, like what could he do? What could his set piece delivery do with Jack Elliott? I'd be curious. That's all I'm saying. I'm just curious.
Listen, he doesn't fit into the roster.
I
Okay?
agree.
He went to Switzerland and
I would have liked him gone regardless. I'm just saying, in a weird world where you couldn't get rid of him, would I have been interested to see what he could do? Yes.
no, I would not have been interested. The guy sucks. He went to Switzerland and all of a sudden became God's gift to Basel. Like, the guy did not care. He was not interested. Even if he was surrounded by the best players in the league, he would still be crap because he was there to be the third highest player in the league and not actually represent the badge. Screw that guy. I'm over it. I'm glad he's gotten what he wants and he's happy. But secretly, I hope Basel choke and Lugano kicks their stupid ass. Let's go Lugano, baby. Joe.
Let's go Lugano. Yeah, no. I generally agree. I generally agree. Also, I
Feed
forgot.
balls to Zink and Kuipers. His distribution was awful with the club. He sucked. No Shaqiri loving in the chat, or I'm banning you. I'm a
Ryan,
dictator.
Ryan, you're on thin ice after that L, man. You got to be careful here. No, we did actually miss one, I'm realizing, and it's ironically the one that is like a fucking wall of text. So all respect to Jeremy for posting it. Jeremy shared this in the chat because he was unable, or in the form because he was going to be unable to join. I was not going to read the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
But you can if you want to. It's a lot.
Acosta is not a starting caliber midfielder in this league anymore. Since we have signed him, he has looked washed. Not only does he not have the legs to hang with the league's top wingers and midfielders on defense, he also has been average on the ball. I cannot remember a single game where he really bossed the midfield since we signed him. He often plays one-touch pass passes at waist height under pressure. He rarely advances the ball forward, and he never turns upfield when facing his own goal. All 3 wins came without him. Also, he was captain for the Nashville match after spending a couple games on the bench. If that is the performance we give when he is back in midfield, that reflects poorly on his leadership as well as his game. On the broadcast, the announcers pointed out the lack of on-field talk by Fire players, not a good sign. I wish I was able to join live to talk about this in person, but I have work during taping and feel strongly enough to send this by chat. And hope you're enjoying work, Jimmy. P.S. Davia looks like an all-time bust already. Launch him into space, and Gutman was absolutely exposed by Schaffelberg. Every team in the league has a tape for how to cook our left side.
Period. A couple points. One, now is not the time for Kellen Acosta slander. All right?
It's getting close. Dangerously close.
Look, if this is that like bullshit like midnight doomsday clock, it's probably like 11:56.
Yeah, so it's basically time, John.
But it's not time.
We don't have to beat around the bush. This is a conversation that is going to heat up.
I believe in Kellen Acosta.
I do too.
I believe in Kellen Acosta's ability to rebound. I believe in his ability to be the guy we signed him to be. But I agree with Jeremy in that we haven't seen it yet. And we need to start
Acosta
seeing it
or
soon.
Hot Takes is going to start slandering you, and that's not fun for anyone.
I would never slander you, Kellen Acosta.
I would.
I don't know. He's a nice guy. But yeah, sure. Look, I think pinning the Nashville loss on him is a little silly, right? Like, yeah, obviously if he went out again and captained again and we lost 7-2 again, I'd be like, okay, something is going on here. But that, to me, I think just felt more like a fluke. That happens in sports. It just does, right? Every year you see you see every team lose some crazy game. They get blown out right away and it's just never close. Like I said on the recap, it happened to Nashville last week against Seattle, and then they responded to it. It's really going to come down to more about how they respond to it. We've talked about Jay. Just give him some time. He'll be fine. That's a long-term signing. That's not meant to impact the team right now. And then, yeah, man, I actually agree completely. Like the left side, defense on the left side is awful. Jonathan Bamba is not a good defender. I think he does a good job of being a willing defender, right? He's active. And Andrew Gutman, like, I'm not saying get rid of him by any stretch because he's still dynamic in attack, but like, if you're going into next winter, I feel like you kind of have to be looking at that spot as somewhere that you need to upgrade.
No, I disagree.
Okay, why? Because we've seen Leonardo Barroso come in and be better than him on both sides of the ball. Like,
what do you mean, why, John? What am I going to say? Oh, replace Andrew Gutman? Do you think that'll ever come out of my mouth? Also, we do have someone in the waiting room.
Okay. Well, yeah, bring him in. Who is it?
It's FC Neo Tokyo, who I believe was Diego, correct?
Shit. No, that's not Diego. Diego is number one Carlos Tehran fan.
Really embarrassing. All right, FC Neo Tokyo, welcome to the chat.
He's not in here. There he is.
He's rolling up.
Oh, he left.
Oh, okay. FC Neo Tokyo has left the chat, but we'll give them a minute to hop back on.
Let's see. Anything else going on in the chat here? Let's check us out. Transition to a 3-5-2. Ryan, every time I say that, the whole group chat laughs at me. Can we also slander Mauricio Pineda for being an idiot and tripping over the ref against FCC?
Yeah, I'm going to slander a human for being a human. Absolutely not.
Christian,
FC Neo Tokyo's here.
Christian, what's going on with you, man? Is everything okay at home? You got a lot of hate in your heart.
Bad day at work.
Yo, what's up, Tokyo?
Gentlemen, how we doing?
Worked another day in the office.
So, believe it or not, I'm not going to continue to hammer my point home about my disappointment with Jack Elliott. I will not hammer that home, but it is a saddening thing. Now, you brought up Acosta, which is another shocking thing. Like, coming into this season, I feel very good about a lot of things, and my faith is starting to waver. Like, and part of the problem, I'll say this, is I don't like to bring problems without solutions. I literally have no idea what to do. Like at least for a year, I was screaming I wanted Evander. Now I don't even know who I want, because you talk about KDB, it's a flashy name, but he ain't really going to give you anything. It'll be another Shaq. You got to find the Ricky Pujas, the literal sickos to join your team to actually get any kind of like buy-in from him. Because like, look at Shaq. Had he gone anywhere else other than his home nation somewhere where he felt comfortable, would he be balling out like this? No way. He'd be sucking resources away at Inter or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'd like to take this one for. Oh, go ahead,
yeah,
John.
go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
I was just going to
seemed
say
upset.
No, there's a couple points here. I think the replacement for Acosta is Sergio Oregel, like kind of tried and true. Obviously not the leadership aspect, but the technical aspect and what you bring on the field in terms of contributions is totally there. The one thing I will say, and I'm putting this on the record now, if it happens, and I agree with Will for the first time in chat, if, and this is an IF, this is not a when, if the Chicago Fire sign Kevin De Bruyne, he will be miles better than Shaqiri. Even if he does the bare minimum, like Shaqiri clearly brought, he will still contribute way more. That being said, I'm fairly confident that he would actually give a fuck.
I hope so, but we're still thin at that point because Kwame apparently is dead or something. We have no idea when he'll ever play again. And like DJ is just, man, I was hyped on him. He's like a Turan. He's like a Josie. He's like a Lukaku. He had all the physical attributes that you all horned up, but like this did not. It's obvious this is above his level, which is kind of, again, saddening. It's a sad affair. So like, I guess my meandering, I'll get to my point here. And it's a question I don't even know how to answer myself. Who's at fault? Is it Greg Berhalter, the GM? Is it Greg Berhalter, the coach? Is it the injury apocalypse? Or is it just, are we just eating shit until a couple more years? Which I don't know, man. Like, it kind of, for me personally, I'm ready to pull the cord on the experiment if we don't at least get ninth. In a league where 37 teams make the playoffs, you gotta do something to show some progress.
Yeah, look, I think I have a lot of things to think about and say. I think more than anything, right, who's to blame is Georg Heitz. And I know that's not like a good answer. That's not a fun answer, but like, it's true, man. Like, you can't turn over a roster that was that flawed in a single window. Can we all sit here now and say, Greg should have done this, Greg should have done that? Like, yeah, of course we can. And even from the coaching perspective, I think there's things he could be doing much better. But I do have a hard time blaming anybody involved right now for the overall mess. Because realistically what it is we had a terribly constructed team. We had a terribly utilized cap structure. And now we're paying the price for that when we should be competing. And that's why I think I said from the beginning of the year, the hope for this season is Open Cup, right? Because you can win 6 games. Well, is it 32, 16, 8, 4,
well,
5
Detroit
games?
This is like classic Fire. We're going to get kicked in the teeth and look like fools the whole time.
No, but that's the thing. Like, we're good. Like the core of this team is good. Like the bench on this team, it sounds weird to say because like the starting 11 isn't that good, but the bench on this team, I think, is better than it's been in 3 years. Yes. Right? Just because Sam Williams is the 7th center back and he can fucking ball. Like Sergio Oregel has apparently been relegated to the bench. He can fucking ball. Like it's a lot of that kind of guy who it's like, for this level, are they there yet? No, but they're still good. And that's where it's like Jay Davila, we've said it to death. Like just let him, give him some time. Let him play with Fire 2. Let him get comfortable with the league. I think the physical traits are there, and I trust the ability of this coaching staff. But I like what you said about like Ricky Puig. Like, you need a sicko. You need somebody who's just here to fucking ball out. And that's where it's like, I don't like the Kevin De Bruyne signing because I don't think Kevin De Bruyne is here to ball out. I think he's here to make $15 million a year and also play hard. I think he cares, but he's not going to care the way Ricky Puig cared because Ricky Puig came here to revive his career. Right.
That's what you need. But the problem is you end up with more Mario Balotellis than Ricky Puig's sometimes, man.
100%. Yeah. It's not a perfect world. Right. And that's why, like, you know, I it's kind of a joke because I'm a Queens Park Rangers supporter, but like for a long time, I was like, Ilias Chair is a guy who would cook in MLS, in part because he's an awesome player. Also in part because guy just can't fucking get to the Premier League. He's been wasting away in the championship for 10 years. And it's like, how many guys are there that you could bring over from the championship right now who could be impact players in MLS? I think there's a lot. And I think that's, I like the
No,
way you said that. Like, you need a sicko.
Josh Sargent.
Oh, no.
I mean, we don't need another striker, but I'd love to have fucking Haji right now.
No, oh my God. Hold on. I was about to leave you guys alone, but the statement "we don't need another striker" is so unbelievably untrue.
Yeah,
We don't need another starting striker. We don't need another starting level striker.
Good, but we desperately need a backup striker. Dude, give me a Dominic Duro, somebody who can, like, let's sign
Dominic Duro in 2025.
Give me somebody who can run
crazy.
stupid fast and, like, bounce the ball, like, have Bomba bounce the ball off their face into the goal.
I was publicly saying go sign Elias Manuel. Nobody wanted to listen to me.
Kamara, I think, still doesn't have a club.
Hey, all I'm saying is Kasper Shabilko would fuck as a backup striker.
All right, shut the fuck up, man.
No, Kasper Shabilko, dude, gonna start drinking again.
No, go sign go sign Alfie Lloyd. Go sign Ryan
Alan
Coley.
Gordon, Kai Kamara, some stars.
All right.
All the should have beens, man. Anyway, I'll leave you guys alone. Peace out.
Appreciate it, Tokyo. Thanks for joining, man. All right, guys. Okay, I don't want to see any more go sign Carlos Vela in the chat. All right. Leave that one alone, please.
It's not a bad one. Kind of a W, honestly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah, okay. We don't need to get into it.
I don't need any more 40-year-olds on the roster.
He's not 40, dude. Stop overreacting.
How old is he? 37?
I'm looking. He is 36.
He's an old ass 36, man.
Okay, well, you're an old ass 28. How about that? Okay.
Yeah, you're right. I am, dude. I've been working for too long. Go to college, kids. Actually, don't. Fuck. Do whatever you want. I don't care. I'm not your dad.
I went to college. I like my life.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll see how you feel in 2 years. Okay. All right, guys. That feels as healthy a place to wrap it up as any. So a couple things I would like you all to keep an eye out for. First and foremost, as always, keep an eye out for the Bonfire sister podcast for hot takes. You can find myself, Matt, Tim, DJ, Alan as well sometimes. We all kind of rotate in and out of there. And we talk ball a little more seriously. So if you want to talk analytics, details, tactics, stuff like that, that's the place to go. It's not quite as intense, but it's a really good time and a lot of fun. So would highly recommend if you could give it a listen. Wherever you're watching this, if you could share it, if you could like it, if you could rate it 5 stars, subscribe and follow us. We're like 997 followers on Instagram right now. So do me a favor. If you're not following us on Instagram, Men in Red 97, go follow us, get us to 1,000. And then also, I don't know, maybe post something on your story. Tell your friends to go follow too. Get everybody out supporting their local. That's what we like to see. Fuck yeah, Christian. Best take of the night. Chicago Fire, the best team in MLS. 100% agree. But yeah, follow us on socials everywhere. It's Men in Red 97, anywhere that you consume soccer content. Subscribe to the pods on all platforms or wherever you're listening to them. And then also keep an eye on the YouTube channel. It's always where we're going to be doing our live streams. And also, you'll likely be seeing a new tailgate talks for this the Orlando game. So we'll be taking care of that on Saturday, and I would expect to see it that following week. So tune in for that as well. And of course, as always, thank you so much for being here. You know, the only reason we do this is for all of you. It's a joy. Me? Thanks, Matt. That's really nice. No,
I do it for you, John.
No, but thank you guys so much for being here, joining, talking, and chatting with all the fellows. It's honestly one of the best parts of the day for us. So thank you so much for being here and making all this possible. Will, I agree. We desperately need a win for all of our well-beings. If y'all could please drop a "Come on, you Men in Red" or a Koimir in the chat. Yeah, come find us in the South Lot on Saturday. Say what's up. It's always a fun time to hear you guys tell me that my takes are awful. I always appreciate that. But thank you all for being here so much. It was a joy as always. Matt, anything you want to say before we wrap up here?
No, we appreciate your support. This is the 4th Hot Take stream of the year, and I'm really grateful to everyone who shows up live in chat and shares this with people they think will like the pot. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you. Special shout out to Austin, who has 2 podcasts to edit tonight. We appreciate how gracious this man is as a father of 2 in a busy life to take time out of his busy schedule to come edit our yapping 24/7. So thank you, Austin. And no, that's all I got. Thanks for being here.
Perfect. Yeah, last thing I'll add, everybody say good luck on your date, Matt. We hope that goes well for him. Matt's out here living a good life. No, I kid. But yeah, thanks so much for being here, guys.
I'm not. Wish me good luck, guys. God damn.
Thanks for being here. Come out to the game Saturday. Support your local. And as always, come on, you men in red. Have a great night, y'all.
Deuces. Koimir.
Koimir.